Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Halo Builder. If you guys have Steam, you may have noticed that they are running a massive sale up until January 5th, and this is my list of the top 5 space games that you should be looking into purchasing because they are on a great sale. So the first one is Everspace. Its Steam description reads, Everspace combines fast-paced combat with roguelike elements, great visuals, and a captivating story. It takes you on a challenging journey through an ever-changing, beautifully crafted universe full of surprises. Shoot, craft, and loot your way to victory while the odds are stacked against you. And then the second description reads, Everspace is an action-focused single-player space shooter combining roguelike elements with top-notch visuals and a captivating story. It takes you on a challenging journey through an ever-changing, beautifully crafted universe. Your skills, experience, and talent for improvisation will be tested continuously as you piece together the puzzle of your existence through encounters with interesting characters, each having their own unique part of the story to tell. In each exciting run, you will face entirely new situations, ensuring countless hours of thrilling gameplay and generating myriad of opportunities for the individual, meaningful moments to experience. No matter how skilled you are, death is inevitable, but is also only the beginning of a much larger journey. You can currently purchase this game for $2.99, or you can get the base game plus its 2 DLCs for $6.72, which I think is a steal because on average normally this game costs over $30, and it's really highly rated, so I suggest that you get it. This game also supports VR, so if you just recently got an Oculus Quest or you have one lying around, this is a good game to use with that headset. So the specs for your computer, like the required ones, I'm going to put on screen. So the minimum, you need a 32 or 64-bit Windows 7, 8.1, or a 10. You need a Intel CPU of i3, so an Intel Core i3. You need 4 gigabytes of RAM. You need an NVIDIA GTX 480 or an AMD like Ryzen HD 5870, and then you need 12 gigabytes of storage space available, and then you can also have the Steam VR or the Oculus. But they recommend that you have 64-bit Windows, Windows 10, Intel Core i5, 8 gigabytes RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 770, and 12 gigs of space available. And so this game is pretty lenient on the specifications. Alright, moving on to our next game. So our next game is Everspace 2. This is the sequel to Everspace, which is the first game that I suggested. It is currently out on early access, meaning that more content will continue to be added as you play. Its Steam description reads that Everspace 2 is a fast-paced, single-player spaceship shooter, while with worthwhile exploration in space and on planets, tons of loot, RPG elements, mining, and crafting. Experience a thoughtful sci-fi story set in a vivid, handcrafted open world full of secrets, puzzles, and pearls. In the campaign, you will make some friends with their own story to tell. They will join you on side missions and provide certain benefits in the endgame, where vicious encounters and brutal challenges will stand between you and the next epic loot drop. So both these games are single player. I'm pretty sure they don't have a multiplayer. So although this game is on early access, it's so good that it's won numerous awards. I'm going to put them on screen. So these include Best PC Game winner of 2021, Best Hardcore Game, Best Foraging Game, the Universal Engine winner, and the Most Wanted Game winner, and the Best Desktop Game winner. So it's won a lot of awards, and I think it was also nominated for 3 awards, which I'm not going to put up. And so like all the games listed here, this game is on sale for $29.99 on Steam. This game usually costs $50, so it is on a good sale right now. So unlike the previous game, this one does not support VR, but that is a feature that they will probably add in the future, considering that they added it to the first game. And so the specs for this game are, so you need a 64-bit operating system, and then you need an Intel Core i5 or an AMD FX 6300. You need 8 gigs RAM, an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780 or an AMD RN 290, 4 gigabytes of VRAM, and then you need 30 gigabytes of space available. And keep in mind that since this was early access, the minimum specs may go up or down. And then recommended is 64-bit Windows, Intel Core i7 or Ryzen 5 1500, 16 gigs RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 160 or 1060, and the AMD RX 580, and then you need 30 gigs of space available.
Engines ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, start. 1.
Our next game is Deliver Us the Moon. Deliver Us the Moon is a sci-fi thriller set in an apocalyptic near future where Earth's natural resources have been depleted. In an effort to solve the energy crisis, global powers created the World Space Agency and secured a promising new source of energy on the moon. The World Space Agency colonized and operated from the moon until one fateful night all communications with Earth ceased and the energy source was lost. Now, years later, you assume the role of Earth's last astronaut on a do-or-die mission to investigate what happened and you save humanity. Deliver Us the Moon was made by the same studio that made Deliver Us Mars, a game that you may have heard of before. This game has won a few awards that I will put on screen, but won't read because they're not big. I don't think they're not major awards. This game is currently available for $8.74, which is a big discount, so I recommend that you act fast. This game is pretty lenient on specs, which are the following. They need 64-bit Windows, Windows 10. You need a dual processor at 2.5 gigahertz, doesn't matter which one. 4 gigs RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 750, and then you need 10 gigs of space available. And then they recommend that you have Windows 10 64-bit, quad-core processor, 8 gigs RAM, the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970, and 10 gigabytes of space.
We all have dreams of greatness. At Upwell Consortium, we have made this dream a reality. The Citadel. Your city in the heavens.
Our next game is, no surprise, EVE Online. Yes, EVE Online is now on Steam and has been for a little while. Although I would suggest downloading it from their website because it's easier. Now, those of you who watch my channel are pretty familiar with this game. But for those of you who don't know, EVE Online is the largest single space MMO of all time, so it's the biggest one ever. With over 7,000 solar systems and nearly 20 years of rich player-created history, you can join this story universe and play free to experience everything from immense PvP or PvE battles to mining, exploration, and industry. Seize your destiny as an immortal, a capsuleer capable of piloting over 350 fully customizable starships from small, nimble frigates to formidable battleships and massive freighters. Embark on a solo adventure through the twisting nexus of wormhole space, very dangerous thing to do. Form a mighty industrial empire to transform the building blocks of the universe, or take up arms with like-minded players to conquer vast frontiers together. Now, EVE Online is free to play. However, if you want access to all of its features, you're going to have to pay a monthly subscription called Omega. The reason EVE Online is on this list, or another reason, is because many of the starter packs and Omega are currently on sale, which is good for those of you who want to skip the initial grind and get straight to the fun. However, if you want to grind to get the full EVE experience, I have a ton of videos on how to do just that. Another reason why I love EVE Online is because it's very easy on your computer. Even the worst potato can run this game because it requires minimum Windows 7 64, an Intel dual core, 4 gigabytes RAM, 23 gigabytes free space. With that's if you load in the whole game. But as you fly, you can download not the full game, and then as you fly, it will load in the game. However, I do recommend that you download the entire game in one go, so that way it runs smoother. And then you need an NVIDIA GeForce 420 or an AMD 5450. And then you will need an internet connection for this game because it is multiplayer. They suggest that you have Windows 10 64-bit, Intel i7, or the AMD Ryzen 1700, and then you need 16 gigs or greater of RAM, hard drive 23 gigs, and then NVIDIA GeForce GTX 160, or the AMD Radeon RX 580 or better, with at least 4 gigs VRAM, and then you do need a relatively fast internet connection. So our final game on this list is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has received some poor reviews due to bugs and other technical problems, but keep in mind that this game is also in early access, and more content is being added regularly and bug fixes happen often. No Man's Sky is a game about exploration and survival in an infinite, procedurally generated universe. Its description reads, inspired by the adventure and imagination that we love from classic science fiction, No Man's Sky presents you with a galaxy to explore, filled with unique planets and life forms, and constant danger and action. In No Man's Sky, every star is the light of a distant sun, each orbited by planets filled with life, and you can go to any of them you choose. Fly smoothly from deep space to planetary surfaces with no loading screens and no limits. In this infinite, procedurally generated universe, you'll discover places and creatures that no other players have seen before, and perhaps never will again. Additionally, this package that you will be buying now includes all major updates since launch, so that's Foundation, Pathfinder, Atlas Rises, Next, The Abyss, Visions, the 2.0 Beyond update, Synthesis, Living Ship, Exomech, Desolation, the 3.0 update, Origins, Next Generation, Companions, Expeditions, Prisms, Frontiers, Sentinel, Outlaws, Endurance, and Waypoint 4.0. That's a lot of updates that they've added, so now the game runs a lot better and has a lot more content, so we have pretty much nothing to complain about. So because this game is so massive and complex, the price tag is obviously up there, in normal times being a staggering $60. Now with the winter sale, however, this game now costs only $29.99, so if you were looking at getting this game, now's the time to do so, as the next sale for No Man's Sky is probably pretty far away. Because of the nature of this game, everything is procedurally generated. It requires a pretty beefy computer. The specs are pretty demanding. Now the game does support VR once again, so if you have it, the VR headset, you can use it with this. So its minimum requirements are a 64 operating system with Windows 10 or 11. You need an Intel Core i3, 8 gigs RAM, NVIDIA GTX 1060, 3 gigabytes, or the AMD RX 470, 4 gigs, or the Intel UHD Graphics 630, and then you need 15 gigs available storage, and then it also supports VR. A side note, I have no idea why there are no max recommended requirements for it. And so, as a final thought, I would just like to say that I've recently purchased many of these games myself, plus a few other non-space related games. So expect those to show up on my channel soon. But other than that, please consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.